Welcome to today's Explainer. We're taking a deep dive into the architecture behind the DP-600 exam, implementing analytic solutions using Microsoft Fabric. Look, if you're gearing up to unify some seriously fragmented data ecosystems, or you're aiming for that certification, you are absolutely in the right place. We're going to break down those complex migration strategies into clear, actionable visual steps. Let's get right to it. Today, we're stepping directly into the shoes of a lead data architect. We'll be using premium certification material to tackle a highly realistic corporate case study. Because, let's be honest, this isn't just about memorizing facts to pass a test, right? It's about seeing how Microsoft Fabric actually solves those massive, costly enterprise-level headaches out in the real world. We're looking at the exact high-stakes scenarios you'll face on the job, and, of course, on the exam. Now, the source bank we're looking at contains 198 technical questions. That's a lot to process. But don't worry, we're going to cut through all that noise and extract a cohesive blueprint for our target client today, Contoso Ltd. By focusing on just this one continuous case study, we get to see exactly how different architectural decisions impact the whole business ecosystem, literally from top to bottom. Here is our blueprint overview. First, we're covering the DP-600 exam challenge, then we'll meet our client, Contoso Ltd., move on to the Fabric blueprint requirements, and finally, we'll architect the solutions. Meet client Contoso Ltd., mapping the current landscape. Let's dive straight in and explore the deeply segmented legacy environment of our US-based health supplements client. So, Contoso has two main divisions, sales and research. And like so many established companies, these divisions have grown completely isolated from one another in how they actually handle their data. This perfectly illustrates that departmental divide. On one hand, the sales division operates on Power BI Premium, managing a massive orders fact table using import mode. Meanwhile, the research division, totally siloed. They're using an on-premises, third-party data warehouse. And on top of that, research is just storing raw data for their internal product lines across multiple Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 accounts, literally heavily mixing Delta and CSV formats. I mean, this extreme fragmentation is a massive administrative nightmare. It creates duplicate work and completely siloed insights. The Fabric blueprint requirements, laying down the law. Before we just start deploying tools and connecting pipelines willy-nilly, we've got to establish the strict rules of the game for migrating Contoso entirely into Microsoft Fabric. As an architect, you simply can't build without a firm blueprint, and Contoso has handed us some very specific, completely non-negotiable data analytics requirements. Looking at this list, two things really stand out: the demand for branching version control and the highly specific workspace grouping. They want dedicated, on-demand capacity with permanent billing for research. They also need to seamlessly filter OneLake data by department. And crucially, this is a big one, every single semantic model and report created by research absolutely must be backed by a version control system that natively supports branching. Architecting the solutions, solving the DP-600. All right, it's time to test our skills and translate these rigid business requirements into precise Microsoft Fabric implementations. We're going to tackle three distinct architectural challenges straight from the DP-600 exam material, mapping out exactly how to solve them for Contoso. Let's look at our first architectural challenge. Considering that strict requirement for branching we just talked about, what's the correct platform to store our semantic models and reports? Well, the traditional method of just dumping files into standard data lake storage or a shared drive like OneDrive, that is simply not going to cut it here. We need true enterprise-grade versioning. So the crucial point is that we must modify the workspace settings to use Azure repos because it seamlessly provides the required Git integration for Power BI artifacts. Honestly, this is a total game changer for them. By linking the research division workspaces to a Git-based repo within Azure DevOps, we're granting Contoso full versioning, tracking, and collaboration capabilities. This directly satisfies their mandate for branching support. It essentially allows multiple analysts to work on semantic models simultaneously, without constantly overwriting each other's progress. Moving on to our next requirement. How exactly do we group these fragmented workspaces so they can be filtered neatly, right in the OneLake Data Hub? Remember, research has multiple product lines, like Product Line 1 and Product Line 2, and each is getting their own Fabric workspace. If we just leave them loose in the tenant, filtering them strictly by the research department becomes this incredibly messy manual process. The correct architectural solution here is to configure a domain using the Fabric admin portal. In Microsoft Fabric, domains allow you to logically group workspaces based on their actual purpose or business context. So instead of endlessly scrolling through a massive list of random workspaces, users can just easily filter the One Lake Data Hub by the specific department they actually need. Now, by executing this in the Fabric admin portal, which, by the way, is your primary command center for tenant-level settings, we can easily assign both the Product Line 1 and Product Line 2 workspaces into a newly created research domain. This perfectly groups the workspaces directly by their business or departmental context, hitting Contoso's exact need right on the head. Finally, let's tackle a really tough data engineering problem: bringing over the sales division's massive orders fact table without completely overloading the system during a refresh. As an architect, you've always got to remember that strict requirement to minimize both implementation and maintenance effort, while absolutely minimizing the number of rows added during a refresh. So, a full data wipe and reload every single night? Yeah, completely out of the question. To solve this, we set up an Azure Data Factory pipeline to execute a data flow that specifically retrieves the maximum order ID from the destination lakehouse. Rather than writing some super complex custom script or manually tracking dates, utilizing a built-in data flow activity makes this process incredibly efficient. It essentially reaches into the destination table and asks the system one very simple question: what was the absolute last piece of data we successfully loaded? Now, because the order ID is a sequential number, grabbing that maximum value flawlessly tells the system exactly where to start adding new rows. It perfectly implements our incremental load. By using that max order ID, the pipeline knows to only pull orders that possess a strictly higher ID number during the next refresh. This is a really elegant solution. It drastically minimizes the rows added, it conserves capacity compute, and it adheres perfectly to the exam's semantic model requirements. To wrap up our case study, I want to leave you with this final thought. Considering how completely this architecture modernized Contoso's totally siloed environment, are your analytics solutions ready for the Fabric era? Think about it. We took an organization completely split between legacy on-premises warehouses and isolated Power BI instances, and we strategically mapped them into a unified, version-controlled, incrementally loading masterpiece. So keep these core concepts top of mind as you study, and seriously ask yourself, are your analytics solutions truly ready for the Fabric era? Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in our next explainer.